Oh.
It don't mean anything, but thanks for listening. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to We Say Things episode 246.
Did you confirm it's 246?
No, but we're just going to go with that.
I hope it's 247 and we got it wrong.
TI 13 edition. Cinder and I are in my disgusting hotel room.
It's surprisingly good smelling for the fact that you've been in here for a couple of days.
Why would it be bad? I don't leave food in here. I don't shit everywhere.
You said disgusting. What else would be disgusting about it than the smell?
Okay, messy.
Okay,
Very
that's fair.
messy room.
Worse. I've also seen better.
Is your room worse?
No.
That's a yes.
But
You delayed.
no, it's not.
You had a brain fart.
It's probably on par. It's a bit better.
All right, let's say thank you to our beautiful patrons, of course. Sorry for the slightly scuffed setup, but would you expect anything else from us? No. Thank you to Lakers in 5. Amish Toaster, the rumors for Arteezy the Secret are stronger than the rumors for LeBron to LA ever were. No Matter Than a Hatter, the episode where Arteezy joins Team Bidet. Captain Broccoli, STGC Daniel, Mr. I Love the NBA segment will be going to TI. Hope to see you there. Say hi to us. Pepperballs and T-Coil.
And Yatoro does it again, Cinderin. Well, we'll get to that. Vlad, let's have Puppy on the podcast. Well, we'll get to that. Well, we won't get to that. He's not here. That was the joke.
Okay.
Disco Farm D, the Mega Pope, Shark TM, Janie, Dop, Wooden Aftertaste, Anonymous, and Copenhagen is called the bicycle capital with over 50% of residents commuting by bike. Mr. Niebling.
That's cool. Very cool.
I'm surprised 50%. I know it's a lot, but yeah.
Meanwhile, Arizona is the number one pedestrian fatality rate in the U.S.
They should have bikes. Then they could have...
They do have bikes. They die. That's the point.
Oh, you call a pedestrian if you ride a bike?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
At least I think so. Hopefully
I'll
that's
call it a
hopefully that's
bike
correct.
list, but, you know.
That means something else in the U.S. as well. So, let's get started.
You want to elaborate on that? Okay.
Man, okay, we're not going to talk about it. I thought of a joke that was really good for today, but we're not going to talk about it because it would have been over the line, but it was, I just want you to say it was really good.
It was good.
Like, really.
But now you're still not going to say the joke.
No, I'm
All
not.
right. It was really funny today. You guys should have been there. It was great.
Oh, I actually stopped myself. I'm really,
Had a
really
funny
proud.
joke.
Really proud of myself.
There was also no way of working it into the cast because the hero wasn't even picked.
There's always a way. Come on, dude. You kidding me?
No.
Look who you're sitting next to, for God's sake. Anywho, yeah, today's episode, I don't really have an outline, but I figured we'd talk about our experience so far at TI. Me being here in Denmark, obviously haven't gotten to do that much. It's only been a few days. We'll do predictions for TI and the current results and whatnot. And then the final part of the episode is Deadlock.
Mhm.
Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Okay. But first, we have something we'd like to announce.
We have a surprise.
We're getting married, everybody.
Yay! We have merch. Some of you guys have been asking for that for 3 years.
It's longer than that, actually. I put Cinderin in charge of merch, which is why it's taken so
All
long.
right, now let's clarify for a second, okay? Before you throw me way too hard under the bus. So we together were talking about getting this done a long time ago, and then we put it off, and then we started a process with somebody who had an idea for, or no, he wanted to promote some other merch, which was unrelated to ours, and that just died out, and then we didn't pursue it for a while. And then some months ago, we were like, all right, we should still get that merch done, and then I started working on it. So, in all fairness,
It's
yes.
been a year
It's not been a year.
since I passed it on to Cinderin.
Well, I'll write it. Let's just say it's been a year. Let's just say that. So, we're starting out small. We have a couple of different ideas that we have not launched yet, but it's just basic things for now.
Should I show the site?
Yes, that would be lovely.
Okay,
I think you
so-
didn't switch the source.
I know, I'm just double checking that I don't have porn in the background here.
I mean, wouldn't that be even better?
There we go. So I don't have anything added to the overlays yet for the podcast. Too lazy, of course. Have it no other way. But we can take a look at the store right now. So if you go to, ignore this
That's
part
just
here,
the country code.
merch.sunsfan.gg will take you to the store. And if we scroll down, we can take a look at some of the stuff that's
Look at that
available.
lovely Danish pricing that means nothing to anyone except the Danes.
I should have looked at that earlier. Okay. So one of the reasons that it took so long to do merch, one is something that we've already established. We're both really lazy. But once you overcome that, the second reason is because we wouldn't want to peddle anything that we wouldn't wear or use ourselves. And I am extremely fucking picky with shirts specifically.
Yeah.
So this shirt here, how much is it in USD?
Is it 26-ish? I don't remember the exact pricing we did, but
Okay.
so effectively what we have right now.
Sorry about the mouse clicks. No way around that.
Yeah, you're gonna hear those for a bit. That's part of the setup.
I like this one a lot.
So we have the t-shirt, which is a tri-blend. This was something you were very adamant about, that
Yep.
the feel of this t-shirt is really nice. So we got this specific one. There's 9 different colors. We can add colors if people have requests. You're always something we would love. I'll just say that right now from you guys is to hear any sort of feedback you have. If you like the stuff we have, if you feel like the quality matches the price, if shipping was easy, if you would love to have other color options that we don't have. The size options are non-negotiable. There is what there is. We can't change those, but we can add additional colors. And then we have, obviously, we would love to hear ideas from you guys. If you're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you had this thing or whatever? Oh, you just changed the price there?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay,
Thank you to chat.
Sweet. Okay. So this is the most basic thing we have, which is just a t-shirt with the logo on it.
This is what I've kind of been wearing unofficially for many years now. You may have seen a few of those shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tri-Blend, so like I said, I would only want to sell stuff that I would wear myself. So Tri-Blend is my favorite type of shirt because it's all about comfort level. I think if I'm trying to remember the exact ratio, it's like 50% cotton, 25% polyester, 25% Raygon or whatever the fuck. Whatever that combination
That
is.
was, so it was present at the Olympics then.
Is it not Raygon?
I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about Reagan? Whatever the hell that third element is. It is ultra comfortable. This is like basically the only type of shirt I wear now because it's so comfortable. Now, there is a downside, and this is where I'm not a salesman. There's 2 types of prints, and I chose the one that I want because it's the one I wear all the time, which is direct to garment, which means that the logo is not, like this one is actually different than what you're going to get on the store slightly. This is a different kind of print. You can kind of feel the logo. This one actually is not bad though, but generally I don't like the heavy feeling. I like direct to garment more. The downside is...
So when you're saying this, you mean the one you're currently wearing, which they can't see because they can only see the source,
They
right?
can see.
Oh, you're still on camera.
Yeah,
I thought you
right
said
there.
we could only see one thing at a time. Okay, good. Okay.
Keep up with me, Cinderin.
All right, fair. No, it's good.
What
Production
was I-
value.
So direct to garment, the one downside is that it will wear out quicker. So you see some of my shirts from the past that I've worn, you can see it wear out slowly but surely after many washes. I think the trick is to, which I've never even known.
I put that in the description for both shirts in the store.
So yeah, it'll shrink a bit for the first wash, and then you want to wash it inside out so that the logo doesn't
It's the way
get
to
affected.
preserve
as
the
much.
print the longest.
I've never done it before. They still last a long time, and even when they wear out, I don't care because it still looks good. It looks kind of like people buy stuff that's all worn out. You're getting that for free.
Nice. All right, so that's the t-shirt. Let's show a couple of additional things. So we have that one.
Yeah.
Then the hoodie that I am wearing.
How do I change it here? Okay.
All right, so that's easier. Nice. Okay. So then we have this hoodie. It's a hoodie, so it's more expensive, obviously, than the t-shirt. This one is $45. It's the one I'm wearing, which is... So full disclosure, we have this one, and then we tried another one that we did not put in the store because I think we want a better version of that, and we want to change the print a little bit, but we're happy with this one. So that's the one we did put in the store. It's very cozy. It's slightly warm, which is, if that's what you're looking for in a hoodie, it's really nice. I really like the feel of it. And yeah, effectively it's the same print. I believe this one does not use direct to garment printing, or does it? I think it's the same as this one, right? It might actually be the exception.
I don't know, actually.
But either way,
For the hoodie, it doesn't matter, though.
either way, you should still wash it inside out. If you have anything with a print on it, just make it a habit to wash it inside out. We've only got this one in 5 color suggestions right now. we can add more colors. I added these ones because I thought they were the ones that the print looked the best on. But obviously, if you guys have requests, if you're like, hell yeah, I would love this one in really sharp pink or yellow, then that's an option.
Somebody's saying they wanted a shirt with just the horse head. We almost did that.
Yeah, I made that design. So that is one of our ideas, was literally just a t-shirt with a big
Giant
horse head on the front and nothing else.
Not sure if people would have wanted it, though.
But that's the thing. That's what's going to be really nice about seeing the comments is if people are like, hey, this could be fun. So let us know what you think, if that's stuff that you'd like. So that's the hoodie. Then we have a desk mat, which is 35.5 by 11.5 inches, I think.
Let's see.
Is
Doesn't say here.
it doesn't specify that there, which is
Very good.
strange that it doesn't say that. Maybe we can get that fixed. I'll write it in the description. Otherwise, I'll just add a custom description to it. So it will show soon. So yeah, what's 31.5 inches is like 75 centimeters wide, roughly. It fits. It's a desk mat. It fits your keyboard and your mouse.
This is genius
It's
design. I know.
obviously amazing design. It's tons of tiles of the horse facing both directions in layers back to back, and then you have the logo on the side where you have the mouse. So then that was the idea, was to have that be the prettier part.
Unfortunately,
and we wanted it to
did
be
not ship to my house quite in time to show in person, but my wife has investigated based on my last desk mat that I was using. She said it's even better quality than the last one I've been using.
She compared it to the one you already have and said she vouched for it.
Yep.
If it sucks, it's her fault.
That's right.
We take no responsibility for that one. And then finally, we have this one, which is the We Say Things mug. And the version we went for is one that has a colored handle and a colored inside. These are the 4 colors we start out with. So black, blue, yellow, and orange. And I feel like yellow and orange fit because of the text and the horse. But once again, we can add more stuff if you guys are interested. So
Nick, you said, by the way, you had a ton of used tissue on your desk, so testing was affected by that.
is that a good or bad thing?
Yeah, I forgot to put a trash bag into the trash that I use, so I just left my used tissues on the computer, and now I'm in Denmark, so I can't clean them.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, one final detail about this cup is the logo is on both sides. So whether you're left or right-handed, it's always facing you and the person you're talking to. And of course, people will be having tea parties with this and have all their friends over. So lovely. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, this is what we have to start. So just before we move on, as I was saying, first of all, please give us feedback on whether, if you guys choose to buy the merch, obviously that's awesome, and thanks for that. Especially if any of you manages to get it shipped in time before TI and you're going. It would be super cool to see this in the audience, but I understand the time limit is a little bit tricky. But perhaps if you're lucky and you live close by, maybe you can get it close to the delivery, that is. Otherwise, it is what it is. That's on us for not putting it out faster. Mainly on me, I suppose. Yeah, let's just blame me fully for it. Whatever.
Yep.
The other thing is, obviously, like I said, give suggestions. If you have good ideas for merch, if you're like, hey, this is a quote you guys say that I think would be funny to have on the shirt. I personally have this idea for a print that would look sick, or could you guys make this or this type of item that you don't have in the store at all? Because I think that would be cool. And then if people are supportive of that in the comments, we can genuinely just make stuff. So that would be cool. Like I said, we have a couple of ideas that we haven't put in the store yet because we just wanted to launch some basic stuff and see if people think it's fun and want to interact with it. And then if this is successful and people want to buy the shit we have, then we have more ideas. And then maybe something we were toying around with the ideas was making a contest, perhaps.
Sounds like a lot of work. If you do it, then
I will do it if we do it, but that's for the future. But maybe we will do some sort of a contest where you guys can submit an idea you have, and then the community can pick a winner, and then you get the merch collection as a prize or something like that. That's what we would figure out. So yeah, feedback, please. Quality when you receive it, if you buy it, if you feel like the price was reasonable, and the selection. For now, that's what it is. So merch.sunsfan.gg. Check it out, and thanks to everybody who gets our stuff.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay, that's the merch. And we're back.
So we can talk briefly about Denmark as a country.
Okay. I can't wait for this restaurant story. That'll be great.
So, of course, I'll give my full review once I'm back home.
Uh-huh.
Because I have barely left the hotel / our casting area, but...
Oh, sorry, just to interrupt you. And Ponzi says the desk mat shows the size once it's in the cart.
Oh.
It's very weird. It doesn't show it prior.
Intended.
Oh, by design. Okay.
So yeah, I haven't really explored too much, but we did go to a restaurant, and this is a funny story. So first, prep it. Why did you want to go to this restaurant?
Okay, so this is a restaurant that has a couple. It's a small chain. It has multiple restaurants in different cities, and it used to be one of my and Susie's favorite restaurants to go to when we lived in another city. So I've gone there a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, I want to take you guys there. I think I've also been to the Copenhagen one once before. So I was like, all right, let's go there. We were a party of 7. We go there without a reservation because I was thinking, all right, well, if we can't get it, it was really short notice. First of all, that we realized we could even go because of scheduling. And we go, and we don't have a reservation, and we can get a table. Great.
Before we went in, of course, you prepped it by saying this place, it translates to what?
Meat.
Meat, and it's in a district called Meat City.
Yeah.
And I was very excited about that. And I was texting, goading, more like slacks about not being invited to Meat City since he would have really loved it. And right before of course you wait for the last moment, right before we enter, like, oh, turns out I was wrong. I think Meat City is like 20 minutes away.
Okay, so just to explain, I was going off memory that this was a part of that part of town. And that is, I guess it translates to, was it the Meat Packers District? I think they call it in English or whatever. But
Rolls off
the
the tongue.
Danish word for it is literally Meat City, which is great. It rolls right off. But it turned out it wasn't. So now if we couldn't have got the table, I wouldn't even have had my plan B. We would have to walk for like half an hour to get to the district that I thought it was in. So yeah, they didn't get to see Meat City. Maybe we'll go see Meat City on one of our great days.
So we get in there, looks nice, and they seat us downstairs,
Yeah.
right? And we sit there for 10 minutes at the table, and we're looking at the menus, and eventually the waiter comes up to us, and I didn't even get a reason why. He wanted us to move back up.
Yeah, so first we couldn't sit upstairs because there weren't enough tables.
Okay.
And then he put us downstairs. They have 2 levels. And then he came back and he was like, if you guys don't mind, we do have a table for you guys upstairs so you can go up there instead. And I think the main reason was it's easier for them instead of carrying all the food down the stairs, it's just easier to have people on the same level, right?
Yeah.
So that was the idea. So we said, yes, that's no problem. We sat down.
Yep, that's fine. It's been 10 minutes. Go upstairs. Once we get to that table, how long would you say we waited for the waiter to come take our order?
15 to 20 minutes.
I would say 25 to 30 minutes. Genuinely, that's how I think
It's
long it was.
possible. I didn't time it.
It was a long time. They came and got our orders.
They came I went and got them, actually.
Yeah, Cinnamon was a really good host.
I
Just
genuinely
waited to the last minute.
I genuinely think they forgot.
Yeah, of course.
Which is ridiculous because they moved us to begin with. How can the waiter, who specifically goes out of his way to move us upstairs, then forget to
This
come?
will be a common theme because I think they forgot about us many times during this. So we order. I think everything with that was fine. And then you talked up this lemonade.
Yeah, it was a nice lemonade.
So they brought the lemonade. It was quite good. And then we noticed that we were drinking out of a fly-infested lemonade.
Okay, now you're really laying it on thick. So we got 4 pitchers of different lemonade, and one of them, I think, had 1 fly in it, right?
Yes.
A little fruit fly, okay? I just want you need to tell the story correctly. It's still good.
And we had, of course, great discussion about this. Purge was there. This is why it's always such a good discussion because he will never complain about. I mean, we've had this discussion on our guest episode with him. He will never complain about anything, no matter what. And he looks to me to complain because he knows I will. I did not.
The game of chicken.
Yeah, but then we had a nice discussion. Like, at what point would it get to? Like, what threshold needs to be crossed before you complain about a bug? Like, because I think a bug in the food. You complain every single time. There's no exception. Lyrical, sitting next to us.
He used to be a chef.
He used to be a chef. He says he would not complain so there's a lot of pulp in there for the lemon. He said if the pulp was replaced with just flies, he wouldn't drink it, but he also would not complain, which just fucking blew my mind. He was serious.
I just have this mental image of that drink. Literally just being... Yeah, you were in the minority there.
Yeah, which is crazy, by the way.
So,
what the fuck?
All right, so we fished out that one little fruit fly that was really going on your nerves, and the lemonade was great.
It was good. The fly made it better.
Okay, so So I'm already at this point. I'm like, all right, I recommended this place. I was like, I have this place I want to take you guys. It's nice. So we already have the problem with the waiting time, and then we have the problem with the fly and the drink. So I'm already like, okay, this is not the experience I was hoping it would be. And honestly, the overall, then when we got our meat as well, I was like, it was not as good as I had remembered, or my previous experiences in that chain were better. So it also was in like the lower end of what experience I've had with that. It was still good, but
It was
wasn't
fine.
like, it was okay.
It was whatever.
And then, so Lyrical has ordered the signature menu, which is a starter, a main, and a dessert. And with that, he got the accompanying cocktail menu. So he wanted multiple things. He went the most all out of everyone there. He gets his first drink, and as he's basically finished eating his main, he's like, I still didn't get my second drink. So he asked for the second drink. They bring the second drink.
So to be clear, every time something is ordered or anything is initiated, they bring food, whatever, there's at least minimum 15-minute time between the next time we see them.
I think that's fine.
And the place was not.
It wasn't
that
like
crowded.
super crowded, no. But I think that's relatively reasonable to expect in a place like that here. I think that was okay. Like 15 minutes between each course is fine. But it wasn't 15 minutes for him because they forgot his second drink. And then we finish up. We've been eating the mains for a while. We're all just sitting there like, we should pay. And I'm like, well, Lyrical still didn't get his third drink and his dessert yet. So we wait a little bit longer, and then eventually we're like, yeah, we kind of need to go back. People need to go to bed so they can go and cast the next day, etc. And then so we go and get the bill, and the waitress is nice enough to be a little accommodating with the bill, supposedly going a little bit extra out of her way to make it convenient for us with the way we wanted to pay. And then after we have paid and we're out on the way out the door, she comes over. By the way, I have this drink and this dessert. Or rather, he got his drink, and then the dessert comes as we're leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go out the front door and I get Lyric. I'm like, hey, do you still want your creme brulee? He's like, nah, man, I'm good. And he also left half his third cocktail in there. So I just told the waitress, you can have the dessert if you like.
That's what the plan was all along for her.
Yeah, I mean, it was next level. So I'm just there like, okay, I recommend it. I genuinely, and I said this at the time, I think in recent memory for years in Denmark, this is the worst like neglect service experience I have had in
We were
any
there
place.
for 2.5, 3 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
really long.
And I would understand it if it was absolutely packed and you're like, okay, they can make mistakes. It was like half full.
It was the
There were
first
so
time.
many waiters.
I mean, I've eaten at a lot of European restaurants, but this is the first time ever that I appreciated the tip system in the U.S. It's the only time
Because
they're always on top of you,
I see, yeah.
wanting you to
But
be
that's
very happy.
But that's the thing though, is that this is not like they get paid a better wage and the tips are not like expected or required in any sense, but it's not like the regular service is worse than in the US here. It's different. In the US, I feel like the waiters are more talkative.
Yeah.
They try to strike up a conversation. They're asking, how's your day, etc. Here it's more minimalistic.
This was just a one-off anyway. Actually,
but that was just
forgot to mention
oh man.
another hilarious portion to this story. As we were going there, so we took a little walk, and then we needed to take, is it the subway? What is it? The train?
We took the metro.
So we took the metro, and it's a group of, 7 people.
Yeah.
And as we're getting on the first, as you and everybody else is getting on the first train or whatever, it starts to close. So I put my hand in. Like in the US, it will open. It does not. So me and Winter are stuck behind, literally looking at the rest of the group through the glass. I'm just sitting there in disbelief. And Cinderen's face is just like, what the?
We're 7 people getting on the metro, and somehow 5 of us get in. So we drive one stop, we get off, we wait for you guys to get the next one, and then we reconnect on the next step. I mean, that was a 6-minute difference, but it was funny.
It was funny. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
We
That's
actually
part of the night.
those 5 minutes without you and Winter were the highlight of the night.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. So I recommended a restaurant. It's the one place we've gone so far. And I was like, I'll get you your dinner. You didn't want me to.
No,
this
it's
was
not worth it.
This was meant to be the $100 dinner that I owe you from a side, what do you want to call it? Not, yeah, I guess a side bet, whatever you want to call that, from a cast we did at, I don't remember which tournament it was by now. It was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Some Dream League.
Yeah, Dream League, I guess. But you didn't want it, so you get it later.
Yep. I get to
So
pick and choose.
that's that story. I recommended a restaurant, and 4 separate things went wrong in 3 hours.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. But I was the cause of none of the mistakes, except that you didn't get to see Meat City. That's the
true.
one thing that was my fault. Everything else was out of my control, to be honest. But, I'll own up to that part. I didn't know exactly where we were going. Okay.
All right, let's transition to TI, shall we?
That is your experience with
That is
Denmark
my-
so far? Is that evening. You've seen nothing else.
Yeah,
Experienced
we haven't
nothing
had time
else.
to do anything else. We might have a guest episode if we do another episode this week or while we're at TI. So yeah, let's talk about the tournament. You want me to show the brackets now?
I mean,
or?
maybe you could talk about, like your experience of like coming in the airport and like the overall like your feeling of the city.
You want me to say what you already know what I'm going to say.
No?
It feels exactly like Sweden.
Okay.
There's like no
All right,
difference.
Let's move on.
Okay.
This is Sweden.
It would not have been able to tell the difference. Oh, I mean, if you want me to complain about stuff, there's no fucking air conditioning in the hotel. First day I come, get into the hotel room, and it's hot as balls in my room. Holy shit. I'm like, I can't live like this. I'm from Arizona, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too hot. So I go to the front desk, and they're like, no, we don't have air conditioning. We just have a ventilation system. I'm like, okay, well, is there anything you can do? Like, we can give you fans. So they gave me fans. I was like, this is still not going to. So I go again. They're like, we do have another room where the sun doesn't ever touch the window. Like, okay, I'll try it.
The sun never shines.
It's nice in here.
Yep.
It's very comfortable in this room now. So thank you to that person that helped me out.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out the podcast.
The no air conditioned country. Thank you so much. Okay.
Nice. All right.
I'm sure.
When you break down your experience of visiting a country, it's always so funny how extremely banal it is. It's about, is the air conditioning good? Can I be in my room? And what's the food?
That's a pretty big
But
part.
what's the food is a big part.
What else have I done? I've been here 3 days. I'm jet lagged. We've been casting out of the hotel.
I guess you did talk about the metro system. You didn't talk about how good it is, just that you were slow, which was on you.
I mean, public transportation in Europe is just infinitely better than the U.S., obviously.
Okay.
But the U.S. is also ginormous, so, I can
It's
understand.
impossible to have it that good there.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at TI.
We don't want to start with this graphic, do we? Let's start with this.
Start here. So I guess I would assume compared to usually when we do our recaps of how tournaments have gone so far, that this is the one where most of the audience has seen the most because most people watch TI. Other tournaments are a little bit here and there, but we'll still recap it for you guys pretty quickly. So this TI has a different format than previous ones, which I think the overall consensus among players and talent is that this is not a system we want to see again. We're doing 4 groups of 4 in which everybody stays in the upper bracket essentially. So this is just a full-on seeding play-in where first place in each group get to pick between 3rd and 4th place from one other group that they're matched with. So in this case, Extreme Gaming got first in Group A, and therefore they could choose their matchup between 3rd and 4th place in Group B, and so on and so forth. And then the second places get whatever is left in the other groups. And that generates 8 best of 3s, which are technically a round 1 of the upper bracket, but we're not calling it that. In which 8 teams get knocked down and 8 teams remain in the uppers, and then you have a double elim bracket after that looks exactly like usual. So effectively, we have 4 groups of 4 instead of a round robin. That's or a Swiss, which I think could be cool next year, perhaps. So yeah, the reason these groups are important is that when Valve put the teams in, they don't know the power level of the teams. They have an idea of who are the favorites and how strong they are, but they will always have some sort of a seeding system. They will never go into a direct double elim because then the draw of matchups are way too important. So they effectively use this group seeding to try to find out how good the teams are and letting them pick who they want to play. Effectively, a round robin does something similar in reality, and a Swiss also does something similar. But the upside to Swiss, I'm sure you would agree with that, is that every match matters.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't covered a Swiss event before. I've only talked about it.
But you know how the system works.
Yeah, no, I understand how it works, and there's pros and cons, right?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to every format.
I haven't cast an event like that, so I can't speak firsthand, I guess.
The downside to round robin, that I think is one of the reasons Valve wanted to get away from it this time, is probably that round robin can generate matches that have no value at all.
Yeah.
Where one team is 8-0 and another team is 2-3, or sorry, 2-5, 2-6. And then for one team, the game matters a lot, and for the other, it matters literally zero. Then you have games that was like, is it fair that one team doesn't try because they have nothing to win?
Right.
For the teams that played them earlier when they did have something to win.
I mean, the one good thing about this current format is teams are not eliminated that early.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, in round robin, it would be the same.
I feel like teams, isn't there usually one team that gets eliminated?
There was last time because
fast?
we had 18 teams, so 8 teams from each group advanced, and one got knocked out, but that was specifically because it was 18. When it's been 16 teams with 2 groups of 8 round robin, 4 upper, 4 lower, generate the bracket, and then off you go.
Right.
And that round robin would usually take 4 days, which is roughly the same as our 2-day group stage plus these 2 days of round 1 playoffs.
This also allows more teams to play against a more variety, essentially, right? And not having one round robin group like in TI3.
The round robin group where everyone played each other once is a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
But in theory, it's the fairest one.
Yeah. And people get to see every matchup.
Yeah. But it's very long and it's a lot of best of ones. So ups and downs to there's pros and cons to every system. And this is the one we tried this time. Like I said, the vibe that I'm getting from fans, players, and ourselves is that we think this is probably one of the weaker formats we've had for this. But now we're into the double limb bracket, which everybody loves and is always there. So that's cool. So what we're going to do now is just quickly talk about... So today we had the second round of the, let's call it upper bracket round 0. Should we call it that?
Yep.
Where everybody starts upper and then these play-in deciders effectively place people in the brackets. So yesterday... I don't remember the exact order in which these series happened, but today we started out with... So yesterday was Extreme versus Talon, which was pretty one-sided. Extreme 2-0'd that. We had Liquid versus BB Team, which Liquid took 2-1.
BB Team is so
BB
fun.
Team, yeah. You need to click it away. Then Cloud9 against 1Win, or 1W, excuse me. That Cloud9, this one was very one-sided as well. Cloud9 looked really good. We'll get to that. And then finally Aurora versus Team Zero, which was the one we cast. That was...
We get all the 3 games.
Easily the longest series and the longest game so far, which was past the hour mark, which is not happening very often in Dota right now, which Aurora took. So those are the 4 teams that advanced to uppers there. And then today Falcons played Beast Coast, which went to 3 games to the surprise of many. Beast Coast looked quite good. But Falcons do take that. Then we had Tundra versus Heroic, which was 2-0 with, I want to say, relative ease.
First game was a bit closer.
It was competitive, but Tundra were better. Then we had Spirit versus Nouns, which is the biggest upset of the tournament so far.
Yeah.
With Nouns 2-0ing that, which we referenced a little bit in our cast, where you, of course, wrongfully put it, said that I was predicting this, which I was not, but I was not surprised with the result, because I think
everybody was dumbfounded by it.
I think Nouns were underrated going into this bracket, because people will a lot of the time just look at the win-loss of the groups, how it went. Nouns actually played quite well despite losing some of their games, whereas Spirit were 6-0, so everybody was like, okay, Spirit are owning. But a lot of their games that they won were actually pretty close, and they had to claw their way back from deficits, etc. So they were clean by no means, right?
Yeah. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow because we get to cast them.
Yeah, we'll see as it goes further. And then finally today we cast Gaming Gladiators against G2IG, which many people thought was going to be a 2-0 smackdown by Gaming, and that one also went 3 games, with G2IG taking the second game. So that gives us the following bracket, drumroll. But this one, that looks a little bit better. So...
How does that look? That's good.
That's close enough. You're cutting off a little bit in the bottom, aren't you?
Fine.
That's okay. So first, tomorrow, I believe, is this the chronological order the games are played in?
I mean, it's definitely upper bracket.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if this is
down to gaming. So
I don't know if this is the exact order they get played in tomorrow.
I think it is.
Okay. So that means whoever wins tomorrow is top 6, and whoever loses is top 12. So usual TI stuff, as you guys have seen, and what I think we should do today, I guess I'll try to note it down after. Do you want to do actual predictions where we keep score and stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I guess I need my
Only
phone.
one way to find out who's the best.
It's not us. I know usually our predictions go pretty damn poorly. All right, I'll make a new one. So I'll make me, and I'll make you. And what do you want to predict? Do you want to predict top 4 in any order?
I think
Or
I mean, I think going through the bracket would be fun, but that doesn't need to be.
it's
part of the
really
points.
hard for me to track the
No,
whole
no, no.
bracket.
For the actual tracking, top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And of course, the Dark Horse and White Donkey, all that
okay.
good stuff.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna write that. So we have that. Yes. Okay. So top 3 in any order.
See, the problem is now that we have the bracket, there's certain. I kind of want to go through them just
You want to go by match
out
by match?
loud. Kind.
Okay. I mean, how about this? We do the top 4 games right now, the upper,
Yeah.
of which 4 teams will advance. And then probably among those, you have like 2 or 3 of the teams you think will get top 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Liquid beats Extreme, which I
Liquid
know
beats
you're gonna
Extreme.
do the opposite.
Okay.
That's why I'm doing that.
Mhm.
Cloud9, easy victory over Aurora.
Okay.
Falcons Tundra, I'll go Falcons.
Okay.
And Game and Nouns, I think, is gaming very easily.
Very easily. Okay.
Yes.
So I think Extreme wins 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cloud9 wins 2-0. Maybe 2-1.
We're doing numbers now.
All right.
Okay.
It does. I mean, it doesn't matter for this, right? I'm just. And then I think Falcons Thunder is actually really, really hard.
That's gonna be a hype match.
Dude, I actually really don't know. I guess Falcons in general have been pretty good against them. So I guess I'll say Falcons.
Doxa is like the wild card.
Yeah, Falcons 2-1 probably. And then the last one is also honestly also kind of difficult for me, but I think Gaiman is going to win mainly on what Nouns had to show today, because effectively Spirit let them run the same strat twice in a row. And Gaiman are not going to let them have that. So I want to see more from Nouns. I want to see them bring something extra. And until I see that, I think Gaiman are better. So
Okay, and then so from there we can just
pick your top 3 now.
okay. So I'm just looking at the lower bracket to see if any team I believe in. So BB team is the one team to look for. And obviously Spirit being in the lower bracket is crazy right now.
Mhm.
And they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so either team could actually go off on a huge run here.
Well, getting top 3, you need to get all the way until
Yes, I
you
understand.
will
that.
need to beat the other team.
So BB team will not be doing that because they throw.
Okay.
So it's really, do I believe in Spirit to make a run? Kind of just depends on the matchups, I guess.
Mhm.
So top 3 in order, right?
Any order. I mean, it's up to you.
We should
do you want to do
we
it
should do order.
in order?
Yeah,
Okay.
we should do order.
Okay.
I think it'll be Liquid Falcons in the finals.
Okay.
I actually think Liquid's gonna win.
You think Liquid wins TI?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Liquid will get first, Falcons will get second.
Okay.
And I think Gaiman will be fourth, so I'm not gonna pick them.
Okay.
Uh
So who makes the lower run then? I guess, right?
I'm gonna go Cloud9 as third.
Huh? Nice. Okay.
Going for some wild cards here.
Yeah. I mean, you also have your Dark Horse and White Donkey, so.
Yeah.
But
True. Dark Horse.
we don't really have an official way of scoring points in this, so I don't know what's worth more. But, that's the nice thing about having our own podcast. We can do whatever we want.
True.
Okay, who do I think wins TI based on this bracket? It's hard. I know what my heart is saying, and you also know what my heart is saying.
Yes, Extreme.
But my heart is always fucking wrong,
That's
isn't
correct. Which means the one time you don't pick them, they will win.
it? Yeah. So should I do it out of
You should.
pity?
That's one way to put it.
Oh, man. All right. Okay, I'll say it. I'll be right eventually. I'm picking Extreme to win TI.
Okay.
Second place. Falcons. So we both have that. We both have them second.
Mm-hmm.
And then third.
Gaiman's the safe one.
Yeah. I'm between Gaiman and Cloud9, I think.
Oh,
I mean, you had Cloud9 third as well.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying Cloud9.
I'll do Gaiman. Otherwise, we're also too similar. I'm kind of close anyway on it. Okay, White Donkey, the team that you think is expected to do really well that won't. And you cannot pick someone from the lower bracket already. Otherwise, you take Spirit, right? Because it's already a surprise there. So pick one of the top 8 teams.
Am I allowed to hedge my bets here?
In what way? Oh, so you would also take a team that you picked for top 3?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that allowed?
That's allowed. Because this is not based on your expectations. It's based on our perception of what the community thinks.
Right.
And I think the community does not think Cloud9 gets third, for example. So White Donkey first. Team that will underperform.
Underperform. I feel like Team Liquid is always there. I'm picking them to win TI.
That is the ultimate hedging of bets. It's saying the winner of the tournament.
Fuck it. I'm doing that as well.
You're doing that. You're ticking Liquid. Oh.
They have a horse as well. It's just perfect on all levels.
Okay, so what is White Donkey for them? How bad is the result for it to be a disappointment? We need to write that
lower
down.
than 6th.
Under 6th.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This is the ultimate hedging of bets. You think your favorite to win is also likely to get below 6th. That is Liquid in a nutshell.
All they have to do is win one series to get 6th.
Yeah. Do you want to say under 4th then? Is that a bit too ridiculous? 6th? Is that...
I mean, they would be disappointed.
I personally don't think going into this tournament, considering the year, that for me it's not disappointing if Liquid gets 6th, 5th, 6th.
It's not disappointing?
No, I think if you ask me going into this tournament, where do I place Liquid in power rankings? It's like 4 to 6, I think. I wouldn't put them as one of the top 3 teams of the year. Would you?
Yes.
Together with who?
Wait, would I? They were thinking of last year. I don't know. Jetlag's kicking
It's
in.
like 100% Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Falcons
obviously.
are one of them. 100% Gaming.
Falcons, Game, and Liquid.
You would have Liquid as the third
Who
one.
would be third? Extreme? Spirit, maybe?
Tundra?
They have not been consistent enough.
Liquid haven't either. I don't say. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're third, actually. Maybe I'm underestimating how much they've done.
We'll just go with top 6.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, under 6th is a disappointment. So that's your White Donkey.
Yeah.
My White Donkey is...
Extreme.
And I also have to pick from the upper 8. I mean, that's the thing, though. I think for me, the most likely team that it could still really go wrong for would be Liquid, actually, based on community expectation. Because the community is not expecting Aurora to do particularly well. If they win one series, they're top 6. That's better than expected
I
for
think
many.
basically we're choosing from 6 teams, right? I think Aurora and Nouns we can't pick them. So
like-
the other 6.
Pick Gaimin to get third. Should I hedge my bets as well and say Gaimin? I think Gaimin getting under top 3 is a disappointment, actually.
Of course.
All right, I'll say Gaimin then.
Well,
I'm hedging my bets.
So Team Liquid should be top 3 then. You're going to put Gaimin.
Well, I'm just hedging my bets like you.
Yeah.
You also said Liquid.
Yeah, but
first.
you said 6.
So should I do the same then?
It should be the same as me.
So they get under 6th. Oh, shit. That's
Yeah.
I need to lose.
Same with the Team
Well,
Liquid,
I guess,
honestly.
well, if they lose this series...
All right, let's say top 4
Okay, for both.
for both.
All right, let's do that. Yeah, because effectively, both of our predictions are wrong if they win tomorrow or the day after. So that's a bit. Okay, let's say under 4th is a disappointment. Dark Horse minus 100% Cloud9, no question.
They're in the upper bracket.
Yeah.
We're choosing from lower bracket.
Oh, lower bracket is the only
course,
Dark Horse option.
If you can't pick Spirit for fucking White Donkey,
Okay.
obviously I'd pick Cloud9 if I could. Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, I was just saying Dark Horse is
So
based on community expectation.
Dark Horse can't be Spirit or BB team, so we're still choosing from 6 teams.
Okay, so we're choosing the low. Okay, fair. Let's say that.
Oh, no, we can choose Aurora and Nouns as well, even though they're upper bracket. I will allow that.
Okay.
I will not be choosing either of them.
Okay.
See, White Donkey. So the one that speaks to me is Team 0, actually.
As Dark Horse.
Or 1W.
Okay.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I'll go with Team 0. Yeah.
Okay. I will take
So top 8, I assume, is what
top 8.
should be consideration, yeah.
So 8 or higher, which means they need to win twice. 16, 12, 8.
16. Yeah.
Right? So they need to win 2 series back to back. Okay. Just making sure. Is the stream still running, actually?
That would be funny.
I'm just making sure your chat hasn't moved.
Yeah, why haven't you guys typed anything?
Say we're cool or something.
Fucking nerds.
All right. I'm stoned. It's a good excuse. All right, I'll allow it. I will pick Heroic.
Okay.
as my dark horse within the rule
Yeah,
set.
that's a good choice.
Now,
You never know.
without this rule set, we're both picking Cloud9 because the community expectation leading into this playoffs is that Cloud9 will be good, but not very
Yeah,
good. I think that team has a legit chance at top 4.
I would have chosen them before the tournament started as well.
Yeah, I might have actually done that too.
Really liking that team right now.
They're good. So, okay. So that means my top 3 in order, Extreme, Falcons, and Gaiman. And then my white donkey was Gaiman as well, so I hedged my bets. And then I said Heroic as Dark Horse. Your top 3 was Liquid, Falcons, Cloud9. And your white donkey was Liquid, so you hedged your bets.
I just picked 3 European teams.
And your dark horse was 0.
Well, Cloud9, is it... Are they considered Eastern Europe?
It's a full Eastern European team.
Good. Still
There's
Europe,
no-
but...
Yeah. They have, what do they have? They have a Belarusian, and then they have 2 Russians, a Kazakhstani, and...
By the way, in terms of who we're rooting
I'm forgetting the
for,
last one.
I'm rooting for Nouns. Fly is one of my favorite players of all time. It's an NA team. Like, it would be good for Dota.
Yeah.
I'm also rooting for China to do well.
It's really good for Dota if China and NA get top 4.
Yeah.
And that is unlikely
Very
that both happen.
Yeah.
But one absolutely could happen. I mean, at the same time, is it really
Do you know
good for
how they-
Dota if China gets
do you
top 4? They
know-
do that every year.
Do you know how they drop? Like who? Like if Nouns loses
I
the
think
game,
you drop down inverted, I think. Because
Inverted,
otherwise,
so
because
they would not
otherwise
play-
Gaiman could face...
so in
G10.
theory, Nouns would probably be playing BB team.
Yes, if they... Yeah, I
So
think so.
this is crazy because Extreme Liquid, whoever loses that, faces probably Team Spirit. That is insane. If you think about it,
Yep.
man. The sweet spot is in the middle, apparently. Holy jeez. Crazy TI. Very
Yeah.
crazy TI.
I mean, that's what happens when 1 or 2 series go unexpected, right? And one of the favorites. But then you got to ask yourself, are Spirit that good then? Right? These are the most important games. Sure, they won the group stage games, but then when it was...
Is 2 TIs not enough for you?
You're not... I'm not saying they're not a good team in general.
Why are you saying they're fucking garbage?
Yeah, Spirits suck, man. They were never good. They flew twice. They got fucking
right.
lucky. That's right. We'll see.
Okay, back to us. I think that's it for TI, right?
Yeah.
So you want to
talk
wrap
about
up?
Deadlock?
Yeah, we can talk about Deadlock.
So-
you got to play a bit.
Right. So, ironically, this is kind of funny. I will take it on the chin because there were a couple of comments, or at least, yeah, I think 2 or 3 maybe, after the last episodes where people were like, wow, that's just so classic Sin to talk so much about Deadlock and not having played it when you had access
Yeah,
for
I
so
was
long.
thinking the same thing during the episode.
Yeah, and
I
someone
actually
was
said,
like, I don't know if I'm impressed or if it's really frustrating to listen to him talk so much because when he hasn't even played the game. You know what?
I've only had access for 3 months.
I haven't been that long. Maybe 2.5. Take it again.
Okay.
I don't know how long I had it for, but yeah, I'd just been putting it off, and I was like, I'll play it later, and then you keep putting it off. And I should have played it when the writing on the wall was that it was coming out, right, in beta, where people could start streaming and stuff. Because it's one thing if I play it in private and we can't really talk about it, but then when it becomes apparent that it's coming out, I should have definitely played some games. So what I did was, basically immediately after our last episode, I played for a bit. I played some
stream.
I played some hours. That was actually my first stream in half a year. I played 5 hours of Deadlock. So that was interesting. And here's the funny part. My concerns about the game and the upsides that I saw and everything, basically everything I said in the episode before having played the game, I stand by the whole thing.
Shocker.
So yeah, I may have been saying it half talking out of my ass or whatever, or I'm not
You
even
just know
I'm not gonna
yourself
say
so
that.
well, you know?
I know what I think, and I know what I saw from the clips and what I expected, and it's what I can say is I think we share that sentiment that this, if it is to be an esport, spectating is an issue. How to make this presentable to the audience and make it a good esport in that sense. I don't know if that's their goal at all, but I'll say the game is fun to play. It is, for a beta, it runs really well, and it's rewarding in ways that I think will allow it to merge fans from both shooters and from Dota-like games, I think.
Yeah.
So which I think is what they're going for. I was also saying that I think the player count is a pretty good reflection of people's perspective on the game because it's invite only, but people can invite friends. And if that number keeps going up, it means that the people that invite their friends actually stick around and play, not just, hey man, come try this game and then you quit after a day.
Yep.
So my impression is also from my friends list, where I have people that both play Dota and CS and whatnot, the hours spent on that game are pretty high. So it looks like the player retention is very good. So I think it's going to be a good game. And I had fun, and I want to play it more.
So I was reading the comments after the last episode. So credit to all the people on YouTube commenting that I should give the game another shot. I did. So
You had played how many hours prior?
I
25?
played 15,
15.
and I did not like the game. And it was actually bothering me, to a point it was actually bothering me where I didn't understand why people were liking this game, because it just felt like all the other third-person MOBAs that I really didn't like in the past. And 15 hours is a lot. Surely you know if you like a game or not. That's a big investment. So I started watching streams, people that are really good with specific heroes, and then I played 10 more hours, and I've been having a lot more fun now, actually. And I can't really put my finger on what it is, but apparently I needed 25 hours to like the game, which I don't know if that's a good sign for people like me that need to invest so many fucking hours, but started using, like, I haven't really had that much time to play, but or even reflect on why I'm liking the game more now. It's not even like a win-loss thing either, because I was winning a bunch of games and just genuinely not enjoying myself. But I think part of it is I wasn't really using the item guide. Like I haven't looked into like what the items do very much, because it's just like, you know, it's right before TI. I'm not gonna learn all these fucking mechanics. And then it just ruined my brain. It's like brain rot in a way for a big event. But so I haven't really looked up like what each item does or anything like that, but I started using guides. And before I was just doing like, apparently the recommended like automatic thing was really bad. But now the things actually synergize apparently with the characters that I like to play, so I just feel more powerful.
I see. So the first 15 hours you were not using player-made
right,
guides.
and then watching some streams, like seeing some little tricks. Like for example, my favorite character right now is Bebop. It's the one with the hook.
That's Pudge, yeah. It's my favorite character too.
Yeah, and just seeing like how people play it, there's like a couple tricks here and there have made it like far more enjoyable to play. The laning stage, which I found really boring, is not really. I mean, obviously I'm pretty low skill, but it's not as boring as Dota to me. Actually, I think Dota has still not gotten to that point that it's enjoyable. And it's very fast paced, but I think I've kind of done a 180 to a degree. I'm definitely going to play it a lot more when I get back. But my concerns are the same with I don't think it's possible to fix the esport or the viewing aspect of it. It will be an esport 100%. I think viewing it will be very bad, and I don't think it's possible to fix that. Look at Overwatch. Very hard to watch. Very hard to watch. And they put a shit ton of money into that, right? And that's not even a MOBA. Take that and add MOBA. So that is a huge hurdle, which, I mean, maybe it's not even, I don't even know what Valve's intent with the game is. Like, maybe they don't give a shit about the esports scene. Like, maybe that's, like, for us, that's, like, such a important bar to set for a game, but maybe it doesn't even matter in terms of popularity. So that could be whatever, but I think viewing it is definitely difficult. And then the thing, and again, this opinion might change as I play more, but the thing I keep coming back to, I don't understand why there needs to be 6 players on each team and 4 lanes. I feel like, and I know it sounds like Dota, if there were 3 lanes and 5 heroes, I feel like it would just be more digestible and be more enjoyable to play. I've had a couple of games where somebody disconnects on each team. It's 5v5. It's actually way more enjoyable. I don't know what. I mean, maybe that's just my Dota brain, but I was trying to figure out like why would they choose 6v6? The only thing I can think of is it's like Overwatch did it, but why would you even want to bother copying Overwatch? 4 lanes allows you to put Roche in the middle. I guess that's. But I mean, I feel like Roche is kind of solved in Dota. Like not solved, but like the design they went with has worked really well. Where it's on the corners of the map. Like there's plenty of things you can do. That can't be the sole reason.
I think.
But the problem is that is such a difficult. Like unless they come up with another map, that's a really difficult thing to fix in the game.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's like a lot of small stuff you can fix with the game with it being beta or whatever, but this is like a major design choice that I personally like.
So I think part of the reason they didn't do 5v5 is that this was meant to be something new, right? It's like they don't want it to just quote unquote just be Dota or CS again with 5v5, so they want to try a different format of team size. What's Team Fortress?
Ooh, it's been a long time.
Was that 6v6 or 5v5?
I don't remember. Chat, you're gonna help us out with this one. Wasn't it like 8v8?
I haven't played Team
Isn't that
Fortress, so but I feel like when I saw a clip or something from it, it wasn't 5v5. Right.
Somebody saying 7v7. I remember it being 8v8 in TFC a long time ago, but I mean I barely played TF2, so.
Okay, so at least it was more than 5v5. So this isn't the first time Valve are making a game that's more than 5v5. But I genuinely think it's, first of all, just to do something different, and like you said, to maybe break up the... maybe the idea they had is if you do 3 lanes with 5, the way you rotate heroes and the impact you have when you cross the map is more solvable than 4 lanes with 6, because the amount of combinations of heroes and the way you move and the way they interact across the map becomes a lot more complex, right? Dota doesn't have that problem because there's shitloads of heroes and combinations that way and items. Currently, this game, correct me if I'm wrong, has significantly fewer items and a lot fewer heroes.
I think for a game of
I don't know what the goal is.
It has a lot of items. I don't think
it does have a lot of items. I agree.
I think the items have a lot of depth. I think that's very similar to Dota. And I think they're going to expand it, but the heroes is definitely limited.
But I'm genuinely just looking at potential complexity, right? With how much there is to keep track of and how much variety there's going to be from game to game. Because I think a really important part of a game like Dota and a game like Deadlock is for it to be as unsolvable as possible. I think the moment, that's why we have patches when we do in Dota, because when the game is quote unquote solved in the meta, you have to break it up or people get bored. So if the base game is harder, the harder it is to solve, the better. And it's actually funny because I remember this was something Valve were also trying to do with Underlords, where they very quickly realized, okay, if we just have the basic units, people are figuring out how to play way too fast, so they have to patch very often. And then they started putting in the hero unit, whatever it was called, where you had like your gang leader or whatever they were called.
Underlord.
They actually called the Underlord when they put them in. They weren't in the start.
No, they weren't.
So then they added that, and
they added the jail system.
And they had the jail system, so they did multiple systems, and the game obviously fell apart. And I can't point my finger at what the problem exactly was.
The Underlords.
Maybe the Underlords made it way worse, but that was the mentality behind it, right? Was that the game is solved too fast, we need to make it more complex. So now the upside for this game versus Dota, I think that it's going to win over a ton. This is my prediction. This is going to win over a ton of players that would have played Dota for 3 hours. But I think the barrier for entry is so much lower
than Dota.
Yes, way lower. Even though it's kind of complex with items, there's way fewer heroes, and just getting into the flow of the game, the amount of things you kind of need to figure out and know to just function in the game is so much lower than it is in Dota. The amount of concepts you need to grasp in Dota, so I played for 5 hours, right? I have no fucking idea what's going on. I don't know what Roche does. I don't know when he spawns.
You can still shoot.
I realized about neutrals, oh yeah, there's side camps. Maybe I should farm them, a couple of games in. I was basically just roaming, playing lanes, and I still felt like the game was fun, and I felt like I was getting something out of it, and I wasn't mega overwhelmed. And if I died to something, I was like, okay, I don't know what it is. I would just read their skills, and it would be pretty intuitive and easy to understand, right? In Dota, there's so insane amounts of information you need to process. I think maybe this will happen over time.
There's a couple of reasons for that. I think one, and this is something that I disliked about the game initially, was when you have, the reason I don't generally like third-person MOBAs is because from a design standpoint, when you're creating a hero, you have less options as to what the spell can do, which is why in a game like Smite, a lot of the spells are actually, they feel very similar. It's like, oh, AoE number 1, cone shape number 2. It's because of your viewpoint is just different. This game adds a lot more verticality, so it's not quite as limited, but again, compared to Dota, it's much more limited from a hero design standpoint, I think. What was I going to say? What were you talking about before that?
Level of complexity, how easy it is to get into.
Oh, right. So last week, or whenever the hell we talked about it, I was mentioning that the game is 80% MOBA, 20% shooter, which I think I still stand by that. I think from a design standpoint, that is true, but I also think the 20% shooter is actually the more important skill to have.
As people get better, because it's where you can differentiate
Yes.
yourself. Yeah, I think so too.
And then as a new player, that's something that you can at least take part in without having to have any prior knowledge, really. It's just a fucking shooter, right?
Yeah.
So that is interesting. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Interesting
to
game.
I think to if you think about it, let's say I think Deadlock has 16 heroes, right? Right now, I think it's 16. Let's say it's 16. Let's say you take Dota now and you axe the hero roster down to 16. I think it's still hard to get into. So if you want to do that as the comparison point, then it's not only the amount of characters, it's also all the systems that the game has that you
Yeah.
need to understand.
For sure.
So that means
think
that
they-
even as
they do
Deadlock
it-
add more characters, it will still be easier to play.
I haven't looked into all the items and like what kind of mechanics they have in the game, but to some degree they're doing something that
21. Okay.
we're doing in Relic Arena is like we have a lot of like these hidden mechanics that are in Dota, but we don't really talk about them, which makes it easier as well because a lot of it doesn't really matter that much. It's like stat gains, shit like that, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think the shooter audience will definitely like the skill level from Overwatch, for example, does translate just because it's a hero using abilities and you're relying on aim. Now the game is still 80% MOBA, like I said. Like there's a lot of mechanics from Dota that are in there. So, but if somebody like, for example, if somebody from Dota was to make like a pro player, say has never played a shooter, let's just say an example, and they try to go pro in Deadlock, I think it would be very difficult. Would you agree with that?
It depends how down the stretch. That's the thing I don't really know is I think shooting will be the thing where people will separate themselves the most aside from just decision making, right? But it's hard to
Shooting.
say.
Well, when you say shooting, it's shooting and movement. I think
Right.
the movement. I think we said this last time. The skill cap on that is higher than anything else in the game currently for me.
Yeah.
I think it's really high skill for the movement.
But I don't know if the movement will be easier for Counter-Strike players. Significantly.
No, movement.
Because I think the movement is
there's
very
not much.
explosive and it's very.
It's more Apex type,
Yeah, I guess. So maybe that, yeah. But
fast pace.
To me, something that I'm curious to see, I don't know how much he's going to play it, but I feel like the single Dota player that I can think of that would be the best at this game instinctively would be S4.
Oh,
I think.
I was thinking the same.
I think
person.
this is the type
Yeah.
of game that he would be really
I was
good at
watching.
if he wanted
He was
to.
playing today
Yeah.
on Sing Sing stream. Actually,
I think that he has like the perfect skill set for a game like this. He's very knowledgeable about Dota. He's very smart about movement and understanding. He was always good at split pushing in Dota because he had a good read on the map. And then he was
really good.
global
at
elite in
Counter-Strike.
CS. And he wasn't just global elite because he was good at shoot gun. He was very good at using utility, understanding angles,
But he's really old now.
Like
so-
basically everything this game is about, I feel like he would be good at. So it'd be really cool if he actually falls in love with the game and plays it a lot. He is the type of player that stopped playing Dota professionally, at least for now, that I think could go pro in this game.
At his age?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
As far as good at games. I mean, he's also not that old,
Oh, he's in his 30s.
maybe, but then it's low 30s. Fly is 31. He's pretty good at Dota.
God, I'm old.
Puppy is 33, I think. Maybe he's 34.
What's considered old in a shooter? Especially one with these types of mechanics where, like, you talked about Counter-Strike. If you add the movement of, like, Apex, like, in Apex, what's the oldest pro player? Not going to be old.
No
right?
idea. No idea.
Like, I'd be surprised if there's a mid-30s.
But it's also, I think it's also not just a matter of like skill set. I think it's pretty overrated how bad people think people are in their 30s mechanically at games. I think the main limiting factor is motivation and drive and how much time you have. So
I don't actually know.
So let's say you have a ton of time to dedicate to the game and you are very motivated and you can find that in yourself. I mean, there's a reason sports stars can play until they're 40, right? Why would esports be any different? It's just a matter of if you're skilled enough and you're motivated enough, I don't think that's
Yeah,
that's a
well,
problem.
we
I
should.
don't know when the age barrier kicks in.
We should play. Wait, are we able to play together?
Deadlock?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, while we're here, we can. But when I'm in the U.S.,
Yeah, you can. What's it called? You can server override. When the EU servers were down, I was playing on SCA.
oh really?
Yeah, you just need it's one console command away. Then you're playing on
Well,
the server.
are you able to pick like U.S. East?
I can pick any server that is open.
Like, is the U.S. differentiated by different
I don't know what servers
Would
they
you
have.
end up on West? 'Cause-
I would end up on whatever server I choose.
Okay, because the only servers.
So let's say there's 6 servers, then they each just have a number ID you put in the console, and then you hard connect to that server and queue.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I'm assuming when you're at home, you're probably queuing on US West. I'm guessing they have a West and an East server, probably.
See, that's the thing that's hilarious.
Then I will have really shit ping, or you will.
Dota only has for West Seattle servers, which I get like basically the same ping to East. But Counter-Strike and Deadlock, I get 10 ping to LA. Very nice. Very sexy.
Why don't they have an LA server in Dota?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be a cool game to see what happens with. I think it, like we talked about last week, I think it already passed a really important test, which is I think the initial response this got for most recent Valve titles has been very positive. And it's been a wide variety of players that enjoy it, and they seem to stick around, so I already have a hard time seeing this game flop.
I don't think it's possible.
Which is very good news because Valve kind of needed a double W on the dev front because they've had a couple of games that failed.
I mean, they're not going to make the same monetization issue. Like,
that's true. That's the last thing that could go wrong. But if they make it cost $2,000, and then nobody plays.
Is there any way this game's not free to play?
I don't know.
There's no way it's not free to play.
I'm guessing they'll do free to play with skins.
Yeah.
It just seems to be honestly, for multiplayer online games, it just seems to be the best business model in general, right?
How do you know?
That's a good question.
I don't know if that's true, but I think
a lot of the really popular games.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's like a requirement. Like, oh, if we're trying to compete with this game, we got to do free. It's like a domino effect. Doesn't mean they're making more money necessarily. Maybe they are.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. What way you make more money with with something like Dota is a great example. We've paid multitudes more money for that game than we would for any AAA title, even if it had 4 versions.
Yeah.
If we had bought every Call of Duty game in existence once, we spent more money on Dota than that.
Yeah.
So if you make a good free-to-play game with actual content that people want to pay for, that's why I think it's a powerful business model, is that people actually want to pay for shit if it's good. And the base game is free means people try it out and actually want to fall in love with the game and then start investing money into it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's the stronger business model. But who knows? Like maybe 90% of Dota players have spent less than $20. That's possible. And the whole time they played, I wouldn't know. So if you made the game cost $50, would it have grossed the total amount? Maybe a lot of the people that spent $20 would never have bought the game though.
I know somebody that's been playing for over 10 years that hasn't spent a single cent.
Yeah, but they also wouldn't have bought the game. So for that person, it made no difference.
No, they would have.
They would have.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, for this person, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So.
But I think like he might be an anomaly. Anywho.
I don't know.
Okay. I think that's it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good episode, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see if we have a guest for the next episode, or if we even do another episode while we're here. We don't know our time commitments.
I think the current goal is to do one more episode while we're here with a guest on one of the days between the playoffs and the arena stage.
It would probably be an off day.
Yeah, which would be either the 11th or the 12th because we're casting.
That's only in 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
The 12th is a Thursday, actually. So that lines up with our usual schedule.
Yeah, so...
But we wouldn't record it at 10:30.
Our casting for the next few days, we only get our schedule a day beforehand, but we've been on last series of the day, so we expect to continue to be last series of the day until the arena days where, who knows, at that point. But generally, we're just doing 1 best of 3 a day.
Someone in chat is saying they'd love Shiver to be the guest. That has already happened.
Yeah, go check it out.
If you want to check out the Shiver episode, it's on YouTube. Just search We Say Things Shiver. It's right there. I think a lot of the people that you would want to have as a guest, quite a lot of them have been already. So there's a decent chance that whoever you want to see has already been on. But even if it was multiple years ago, a big part of the episode is still about them and their life. So there will be a lot of the things that are still relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, we've got Gabe Newell lined up. Come on, Gabe. He's going to be the guest. Yeah. We'll see about the guest episode, though, but fingers crossed that we can make it happen on the 11th or 12th. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for checking out the merch. We will be reminding, at least for the foreseeable future, at the beginning of episodes, because we really want people to see it.
I'll add it to the, once I get back home, we'll add a graphic to the podcast, but for now, merch.sunsfan.gg. Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy
Hope
TI.
Yeah, hope to see some of you at TI. Have a good day/night. Goodbye.
We say things that don't mean
Subscribe.
but thanks for listening.
GG.